Right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the TST Roundtable. I'm G. Trullia, the president, along with
Pierre Resco, the vice president.
Eric Kidner, secretary.
All right. So we're here tonight. We got Teddy
Jernigan.
Jernigan.
Yeah.
Get that right.
Got to get that pronunciation right.
He will be our guest speaker. And what are we speaking about tonight? Well, programming and reprogramming. How many times have you had a problem in your shop? You know, today's vehicle is a total computerized vehicle, right? There's so many computers on board and so many things that need updated. Give you a good example like P0101 on a Nissan. Well, you go throw a new mass airflow sensor in, it still didn't fix the problem. But if you would have looked up RTFI, read the freaking information, you would have seen that it needed to be reprogrammed. But using that example, like I used in a webinar this past week, you're going to have a problem because you didn't know you had to download the NERS program. That is a Nissan program that'll cost you like $350. And then you got to pay for the file on top of that. And then you got to get total aggravation and go through a whole bunch of steps, miss one step, and guess what? You're going to run into a huge problem. So we're going to have Teddy go through. He works for OPUS IVS, and he is a programming expert. And Teddy, welcome.
Thanks for having me, G. Appreciate it.
We appreciate having you. So a question, Teddy. And, you know, Pierre will have a question, and probably Eric. What do you see to be the biggest problem? I know, you know, a lot of techs out there, like my shop, we have factory scan tools that we can do programming with. We have J2534 that we can do programming with. We also have the RAP 2 unit. So what do you see out there that seems to be a problem? And everyone else could chime in, put your questions in the chat box. So if you have any questions, welcome everyone.
The biggest problem that I see as far as the programming world goes is misinformation. There's so much bad information out there. Everybody's got a horror story. Everybody's terrified of it. And they go into it expecting to fail. That's the biggest problem I see in the industry right now.
They go in expecting to fail?
Yeah, absolutely. Because
Really?
they're scared. Yep, they're scared of it. So, and most of that comes down to, you know, not following the diagnostic process. A lot of people like to skip to that last step, you know, replacing a module when they didn't go through everything they should have went to before that.
Oh,
So-
you're kidding me, Teddy. You mean they didn't follow all the steps? They went, you know, step 1 to maybe step 8. That would need the.
Oh yeah, they'll
seven in
skip
between,
right to
didn't they?
step 47 sometimes. They'll skim through. Oh yeah, I'm sure that's all fine. Let's put a PCM in it. They try to program it, they brick it because lo and behold, we got an open wire that was our problem from the beginning.
Yeah, now I know here, you know, in our shop, we get stuff from other shop owners. They bring it in and they go, oh, I need a program. They don't want us to diagnose it. We go, hey, if we program it, it may not fix the problem. Or a lot of times we're going to see they have the latest file in there.
Mhm.
And you and I just went over this the other day.
Yeah.
So if you have the latest program in there, what the hell am I going to be putting in there? It's not going to change a damn thing.
Yeah, exactly.
And
Replacing
then they get all
brand new-
bent when it didn't fix the vehicle, right?
Exactly. Let's replace a set of brand new brake pads with a set of brand new brake pads and see if it's the pulsates.
Because the pedal goes to the floor.
Exactly.
Keep that closer to you. Then you'll be able to hear you.
Right.
So if you guys out there, if you have any questions for Teddy now, is there a big difference between, you know, using the RAP 2 or using the Cardac M or the Cardac 3, whatever someone may have, because obviously
Oh, yeah.
nowadays you need
Huge
the
difference.
Cardac 3.
Yeah, absolutely huge difference. I mean, the RAP is designed for somebody like I was talking about that's scared of it. You know what I mean? We're going to do it for you. Step-by-step instructions. You hook it up. It's real simple. Call for an appointment and we're going to take care of the rest. Whereas if you got yourself a Cardac M, Cardac plus 3, something to that effect, even dealer tooling. You may have a little more capabilities than the RAP2, as well as your diagnostic functions and all that kind of stuff. But you're going to be responsible for making sure all your software is up to date, working, and everything like that. And all the rest of the equipment that you need, your maintainers and all that stuff too.
Right. See, that's the other thing. And not only that, but today you got to sort of be computer geek of some sort, right? I mean,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
going to need to know if you need IE, Internet Explorer on some, 11, I think was the last version. Are they going to go with, with Chrome, or can they use Edge? And I see a couple of manufacturers now saying Edge is okay to use. And what do they need for RAM? What do they need for, the rest of the stuff, memory and hard drive space?
Yep, exactly. And then as far as like the RAP unit goes, all you need is a telephone.
Explain that RAP unit for those who may not be familiar with it out there.
Okay, so the RAP, the RAP kit, those of you that seen it, looks like a big suitcase. So it's got a Windows-based tablet in it. So we got all the software and everything that you would have to maintain on there already, and we maintain it. We have a Cardac inside of there. We have a cellular modem for those of us in the US, so we can have internet connection. And then we have a battery maintainer in there too. So it's everything that you would need, for J2534 programming.
And it's basically a step-by-step walkthrough process, as we did just this past week, obviously.
Yeah, actually, I consider it simpler than a walkthrough process. We do most of it for you.
Yeah. You just got to remember to put those cables on right, so you don't pop the fuse, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Positive, positive, negative, negative.
Right. That happens more often than you would expect.
Yeah, I was told by Mr. Baker there of that problem. So
Yep.
pretty interesting that, as I had stated the other day, when you don't have the time. Now, we've done that here. We have the Chrysler YTech software with their pod. When the guys are too busy, and I think, this probably in the past 3 months, we probably went through you guys using the OPUS IVS tool, not the RAP tool, although we've used the RAP in multiple occasions. But you guys just took over from the other end and saved us time, or we would have lost a job.
Right. And a lot of shops like that too, especially a high volume shop. I mean, especially transmission shops really love us. If there are in 15, 16 transmissions a day and 90% of them need coding or programming or something, have your porter, your front counter person walk car to car to car with the RAP box, and we'll take care of all of them, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I think that is a real good unit and a good tool. And, some people say, well, why do I have to get a new Cardac? I got the original Cardac, or I have the Cardac 2. So maybe explain that to them as well. What can't they do?
Well, so I mean, depending on the tool that they have, technology is always updating, right? So your 2004 Chevy Impala is not the same as your 2022 Chevy Impala. A lot more bells and whistles, a lot more network, a lot more modules in that car. So the programming interface that was built back in 2004 was designed for those cars. Minimal interaction. We only had certain buses. So I mean, like 04, we had that was like J1850 and maybe single wire CAN or something on that, and only a couple of communication channels on that. Whereas your newer vehicles, you're going to have 5, 6 or more, CAN channels in there, depending on the make of the vehicle. So that's really the difference. And then also with J2534, other makes are also updating. I mean, Honda uses a Diag H channel, some other things like that are added over the years. And we can't go back in time and fix those old tools. So we're making new tools that can, accommodate all of the modern vehicles.
Right. And then on Chrysler, you had something with gateway modules, right?
Yep, exactly. Yeah, you got gateway modules. Chrysler loves that. All the newer Fiat-based Chryslers love that triple CAN channel. Accesses the 3 CAN channels simultaneously, which nobody else does.
Right. Now, Pierre had a question on connections.
Yeah, so I had a BMW shop, of course, a long time ago. And at that time, I needed a static IP address. Is that something that's necessary now?
Not as much as it used to be. No, BMW has been a little more forgiving in that. And to my knowledge, they're the only OE that ever really did that.
So I was lucky, huh?
Yeah.
Whether you like that or not.
Whether I liked it or not, yeah.
So tell us about the cellular. If a shop doesn't have internet, that wrap box can do it without them having an internet connection?
Yes, absolutely. Now we may need to, most shops are a steel building, so your cell phone might not work inside. So we may need to push it outside to get a good cell connection on there. But there's a 4G cell modem built right into that tool, and we can get most jobs done with that. Now, to get back to the Chryslers with the gateway, those ones we're not going to be able to get through that gateway on that cell. We need to be hard line internet connection to the tool.
Right. Now, I noticed the other day we were using the version you guys make for Snap-on.
Yep.
And you had a cat 5 or 6 wire.
Yep.
That had to be, I guess you made it long enough to get to the router on cars like a Chrysler where you wouldn't have a problem, right?
Yeah. So we include 100-foot Cat 6 cable with all of our new tools when we send them out, including the Snap-on version.
Wow.
Does
That's
this,
pretty cool.
does the system require Cat 6 or can it be a Cat 5 like an older installation?
Cat 5 will work. We just include the Cat 6 just in case, just to be a little future proof.
Right.
Way to go.
I don't see any chat. I wonder if something's wrong with our chat.
I don't see anyone asking.
If anybody's on there, just and you
There's
hear,
people
just
there.
type a Y or something, just so we know the chat's working.
Yeah, I don't see any questions.
Yeah, well, that's,
Let's see.
usually by now we have something. Sorry to interrupt, but technical difficulties. We had sound problems, so why not have a chat problem?
I don't know. I don't see any chat even coming up here. I think they're in Q&A.
Yeah, I see stuff
people,
popping up
for
in
some
Q&A.
reason,
Oh, they're not going to chat,
They're not going to
Q&A?
chat. So,
Oh, okay, so if you're in
like
Q&A.
Mario, Robert, chat's disabled. Oh, all right. Sometimes, when we do our fingers do the walking, let me move this over here. Sorry about that.
We talk about technology all the time, and this is just another technology.
Okay. All right.
Ain't it
Chat-
wonderful?
Oh, chat's disabled. All right. Okay. Well, thank you guys for popping in there. Is the OE software someone has here? Mike Creeley, is the OE software come with it? Come with what?
Is he talking about the wrap box?
The wrap box. Well, you
So we-
explain what they have to do with the wrap box. Like, how much does it cost? Is there any money? Snap-on has a plan, I think, where you buy it, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yep, and that's between you and the guy on the tool truck.
Okay.
So
Now, when you guys sell it, do you sell it or do you still send it out where there's a monthly fee? And if you do so many, I know, over the years I've been involved with you guys, there've been multiple types of setups. What is the current?
current? We're selling them. We're selling them outright. And tell you the truth, I don't recall exactly what the price is off the top of
Okay.
my head.
I think Holland said roughly about $2,800.
That sounds right.
Okay, so
I
you
mean,
would want to check, you can go to OPUS directly
Yep.
and find out, or you can go through your Snap-on guy. I think the price is similar. And then tell us what it would cost. So I get that box. Are there any monthly fees?
No monthly fees. It's pay per use.
Okay,
So
so
for
now
the-
I want to go program a GM. How much is that going to cost me on my end?
$125.
Okay, now I'm going to program a Chrysler. I'm going to throw
That's
a
gonna be a
wrench
little
in
bit
there.
more. Chrysler, because they have extra fees they charge us, that's gonna cost you $190.
Okay. And can you go down the car lines that you guys can program with the wrap or the OPUS IVS, whatever they call the tablet?
Yeah. So we're doing, we can do all the big three: GM, Ford, Chrysler, Honda, Toyota, Hyundai, Kia, Nissan, BMW. That's everything that's supported right now with the wrap.
Okay, so how about if you had to do a Volvo with Vita?
Not at this time. We're getting pretty close to making that work. We can do
Okay.
those on our drive tools and stuff like that, our little more advanced diagnostic.
Okay, that's what the other tool, the tablet's called, the drive tool.
Yep, those ones are capable of a lot more. There's just a lot more hardware inside of those as far as the interface and the tablet. You know, a lot more computing power, but those are also designed for diagnostics as well, not just programming.
Got you. Okay, let's see if we got anything else here. No chat. Yeah, so companies, I mean, you know, just my opinion, having it and working with it for a while, it's really easy peasy. And that example that I use, and if you guys missed it, you can go to our TST seminar YouTube channel. It's just TST SEMINARS, and go look at that. Teddy's doing the programming on the other end, right through on a GM car seamlessly. And when we've done a Nissan, I mean, I have the NERS download license. I have a lot of their files over the years of programming their cars. So you get to keep the file. But it is such a nightmare. It's not, in my opinion, not worth it. I'd rather pay OPUS to do it. And if they brick the computer, why don't you tell us about that?
Oh, our guarantee?
Your guarantee.
My guarantee. So yeah, pretty much we're gonna make it right. So long as everything is done right on your side, we guarantee the programming is gonna work. And I'll pay whatever I gotta pay to get that car back on the road. I'll buy a module, I'll tow that thing to the dealer, let them put a module in it, whatever we gotta do.
Wow.
So all of that assumes they did it right. So I think we should reiterate,
Yeah,
you still have to diagnose the vehicle.
yes.
Well, that should
Programming's
be
not a
the first step.
substitute.
That is the first thing, yes.
Right, because on your end, different than, what did he call the tablet thing again? The diagnostic tool, whatever.
The
You know what I'm
drive.
talking about. The drive. I always forget the name. I can't remember my own name. That's why there's one letter. But the drive, at least what's going to happen there is more diagnostic power where they're going to go in and look at it and go, well, dude, programming ain't going to help. When you do the wrap, you're basically going in to pay for programming.
Yep. Yeah, so the way I like to explain it to people, RAP is like the pharmacy. We're filling a prescription.
That's a good way of putting it.
Doctors,
You know what I mean? You guys are
Yeah.
the doctors out there.
Yeah.
and the doctors got diagnosed. It.
Yeah,
Give
exactly.
them the script.
Yeah,
No.
you know, it's unfortunate that a lot of people don't diagnose, you know, and they just think a program file is going to fix it. And Ted, maybe you could kind of go over, can you rewrite a file if you put it in? Because when, you know, you program it, there's things that could happen, you know, maybe a shift doesn't feel like it did before. Can you go backwards?
Most of the time, no. Unless you're going to do something funny or the back end of the software, you got maybe some third-party software or something like that. But if you're dealing with the OE software like we do, you're not going to be able to go backwards in most cases.
Now, a lot of the newer Fords, you know, connect 17 and up, I believe, with FDRS.
Mhm.
If you buy a used computer, can you guys program those?
We'll give it a shot sometimes. I'll
Okay,
tell
so-
you sometimes.
Great answer.
Yeah, sometimes.
Because we should explain, I know my own experience, if you can't virtualize some of these newer computers, what's virtualizing, meaning getting the old VIN and information out of it.
And
It won't let you
taking
program.
out any settings, basically making it as if it was brand new from the factory, from the
Correct.
dealer.
Now, you guys don't get involved with that at all, right?
No, we don't get involved with that. No.
Okay. So sometimes, you know, there's plenty of different classes out there. Well, not plenty, but I know one in particular where, you know, guys are unsoldering chips or playing with it. You really, I'm not saying it's bad. I think it's good if you have the time and the manpower, you know, because you're going to need a whole work area set up to actually do this. A couple of my students went through those classes and they said they were good. They're good. In fact, I sat in part of one and I thought it was real good, but I don't have the time or the space to do that. As I mentioned earlier, time is money. But what do I do if I come across a vehicle that you can't program it? I think there's only one answer. that
Or you
can
can't
say.
buy a new computer for. Yeah, what if there's no new units available?
I mean, that's going to depend on the make. You know, some makes are more forgiving than others. If you're working on like a 2008 GM, yeah, you most likely can do a used computer in that thing. Same thing with Ford. But if you're trying to do, like a BMW, not so much.
Yeah, forget it.
You're going to get into a lot more trouble, even just plugging in that used controller.
Oh, yeah.
When you program a BMW, and Pierre is more of a expert, obviously, on BMWs than myself. But a lot of times when you go to program them, they want you to program a whole bunch of computers, not one. How do you guys handle that?
Oh, with the code all?
Yeah, so the software level updates.
Software level update.
Yeah, software level update. We yeah.
Sorry to mess you up.
No, you're good. So, I mean, I think a lot of people have been there, running into like a 72-hour update on like a K-line BMW or something.
Oh,
like that. We have a different agreement with BMW. They let us do some stuff without having to do the software level update, but not always. Really depends on, make, model, chassis type, really.
Speaking of chassis type, so the F series and G series, you have a different cable that is available, right? I think that's an extra. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's an extra.
Okay. Why don't you explain that? Is it going through the OBD2 port? Explain how that cable kind of operates.
Well, I mean, it looks very much the same, except for you're going to see an Ethernet cord coming off the back of it there.
Right.
And that's going to plug back into the wrap unit. And then we're going to send data a different way. Essentially, we're going to bypass the interface, to get that stuff done.
Very cool. And I noticed recently you guys are doing, and we may be from TST having your Tesla expert on, maybe do a class for us. I was speaking to Holland about that.
Yeah.
Because now you have a special kit.
Yep.
I don't think people are aware of that.
Yeah, that's coming. I don't even think it's quite released yet, but it is coming. We have special cables and stuff that will be available. They're not now, it'll be very shortly for the Teslas. And we do have a Tesla. We got 2 Tesla experts in house. So
what's he saying there? You can read the questions for me. So have you had any nightmares doing programming?
it happens all the time.
A couple of war stories without names.
With war stories without names.
I'm sure with you guys doing so many programmings a year. I mean, I was out to your old location. Now you're in a bigger location because you guys are, so damn busy.
Yeah, we were blowing the doors off the old building.
Yeah.
And
That was a nice sized building, but
yeah,
you'll
you'll have to come out and visit the new one. It's way bigger. But I mean, so many things. So I'll take it way back, even before my OPUS days. I had one. So I was one of the few people in town that was actually doing programming. And Lord, I made so many mistakes when I was first starting. It's crazy. I broke a lot.
Don't we all?
But yeah, I mean, knowing what I know now, I probably could have saved most of those without replacing controllers. But one of the last vehicles that I actually worked on out in the field was another shop that called me in for help because and I had to stop them when they called me because they said they put a used body controller, a used airbag controller, and a used PCM in an Equinox. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. What are you guys trying to fix? And they hemmed and hawed, and I finally got the whole story out of them. They had been paying me to go over there and program for them. They bought their own interface. First car they get in after they get their interface comes in for an oil change, and it's got an airbag light on. So they sell programming, don't even diagnose it. The guy goes in, tries to program the airbag controller, loses comms, doesn't stop, just starts trying to throw coding at everything he can talk to, and loses comms with most of the vehicles. So then they start throwing used controllers in the thing. Yeah.
That's pretty scary to say the least.
So on that note, the question is modules that are obsolete, can you rewrite the VIN into them? Can you virginize them pretty much?
Well, yeah, we can't virginize them, but some,
Some you can rewrite.
we can rewrite.
Yeah.
I mean, so
We
long
had
as we're
that,
not dealing
you
with
know-
a global A or a VIP platform GM, you know.
Right. And I was gonna say that, what I've noticed, anything electrified on a GM, you're gonna need a new computer. It
Yeah,
has to be Virgin, you know. We had one, we were looking for a Ford Escape computer. And yeah, it was an Escape, was it an Escape or, yeah, it was an Escape. And no one had this computer. We went to autopcms.com, used one. We tried every part store you could think of, the dealer, back order. So Bill went on Google and searched it and found some company. We never heard of them, but they had a good rating on Google. And we went, what the hell? The guy wanted the VIN number and we said, no, dude, we got the IDS. We can program it. So no, I want the VIN number. We program them here. Okay. It only had the check engine light on for one code. A solenoid had gone bad. I think it was an evap solenoid. We fixed it, no problem. They send the computer out and all of a sudden the dashboard looks like Christmas time. We got a bunch of lights, a lot of codes, and we're like, what the hell? What we found is when we went into mode 9, it had the wrong VIN programmed in it. They put a wrong, maybe 8-digit or whatever.
I think it was one digit off, right?
Yeah, they
one
were a
digit
digit off.
Oops.
Once we reprogrammed it, everything was hunky-dory, it worked. So, it's the other thing, I'm always paranoid. I do this nowadays. I can't read my own writing. So I take the camera, take a picture of it, and then I blow it up and I make sure I punch the right digits in.
we had one of those too, a similar situation, at Opus. Guy got a pre-programmed Ford PCM. The VIN was only 16 digits long that they had programmed in.
That'll do you.
Yeah. So that was fun trying to fix, but we did get it eventually.
Wow. So we got here, Mario got his Tesla kit in today because I believe, Mario, you can type a Y in there. You are a user of the Opus, was it drive tool? I'll get that name right sooner or later. The Opus drive tool, which is, by the way, a great tool. And you don't do support on that one, right? You personally?
I personally do not.
Okay.
We will do some of my team, me and my team will do some of the programmings for the guys that do the diagnostics, just because, we're the
Right.
programming experts and they need to diagnose cars.
Got you. Okay. And let's see what else you said. Spoke to one of the Tesla experts today. So pretty cool. So Mario has been doing that. And, the other question I had for you, and Pierre knows this because we both had the AutoLogic blue boxes and
I had the black box originally. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes programming seems to be quite a bit easier through that box with what they call now the legacy software.
Yep.
So you guys don't get involved in that, right?
Nope. We're not dealing with that legacy software anymore.
Oh yeah, it's going bye-bye?
Yep. Yeah. Certain cases it might be used in extreme circumstances, but if you still got an old blue box, hang on to it. I'm going to tell you that right now.
I'm not getting rid of mine.
Right.
Very cool. Yeah, because that can save some time, no doubt. So what other problems or things have you seen, in the programming world?
Lots, so much.
Well, give us a couple so people know, sometimes it's really, time is money. This is what a shop got to think about. So, it's just like your Drive Pro tool there. A lot of people go, I'm not going to spend the 6,000 or whatever it cost and 300 a month. But and I think you guys finally, the marketing people finally got on this. How much does it cost to, get a reliable tech? So if
Yeah,
you're paying
exactly.
$299 a month, what the hell?
Yeah, you're not getting a tech for $299 a month, not a good one. At least.
Not anyone.
Not even a lousy one.
Not
Yeah,
even a
right.
a no one.
No one.
Yeah, you're not gonna get your floors swept for $299 a month.
Exactly. No one's gonna do squat. They're not gonna wake up for $299 a month.
Right, exactly. I mean, like you said, we're doing 200, 250 programmings a day. if something can go wrong, it's happened for us, unfortunately. But we have the expertise, we got the experience, we can fix 90% of it. I mean, I had a Nissan, we'll bring that up, that I worked on all day because somebody in the shop kept unplugging the tool from the wall to use the outlet.
I shouldn't laugh.
Yeah.
That sounds like a terrible nightmare.
So,
Yeah.
so Teddy, let me ask you this question. Do you guys have a list when you send out, let's say, the wrap box, they buy it or Snap-on? So is there a list of here's what you should have in your shop and make sure there's no uninterrupted power or whatever?
Oh,
You
yeah.
spell that all out to them?
Yeah, it's all on there, right on the website with the capabilities and everything like that. But I mean, we're all techs. We know it's an unwritten rule. If you're not working on that car, don't touch it.
But
Right.
people like to touch.
Yeah.
If there's a tool sitting in there with even blinking whatever and it's plugged into the wall, maybe ask somebody before you go and unplug it.
Probably not a bad idea.
Jerry teaches something like that in the hybrid class about the key, the lockouts for the batteries.
Yeah,
Right?
basically, take that stuff and put it elsewhere
Yeah.
because people love monkeying with
Oh, they
stuff.
see it. Oh, somebody left this out. They put it in the car.
We've had even that too, where, we'll be doing a programming event that's, some of them can take an hour or so. Somebody walks by, oh, they left the key on. I'll just reach in there and turn the key off for them. That happens too.
Wow. Now, Teddy, how about key fobs? Multiple key fobs being around. Does that, any warning on that or
Get them away.
get them away? Okay.
Get them away.
Good idea.
So when you're dealing with an older vehicle, like an older Ford or something, like with the Pats key, the big blackhead Pats key,
Right.
a couple of feet from the ignition will usually do. But any of the newer cars with like the phobics, tell it people 30 feet, get them 30 feet away. We'll deal with the one that we're programming right now, and then we'll swap them. Yeah, it takes a little bit.
Do
but
you
better
tell them
safe
to
than
put it
sorry.
do you tell them to put it in an anti-static or an ESD bag?
Yeah, it's my free Easy Pass bag. That's where I put my stuff in.
Pass bag. I usually don't go that far, although I do make sure. So like if you got your keys in your pocket and you got a fob, put those with that other key that we're not programming right now,
Right.
because
That's
that can
smart
mess
move.
with it too.
Now, speaking of keys or skim or security, can you do all of those? Or are there any prerequisites? Like, I have an LSID or VSP license. Do you require that if someone is working on a car and the module has been replaced?
Yes. So any of the vehicles and newer vehicles that don't have the timed access, the 10-minute wait. So we are partnered with NASTIF. We do have more restrictions on us than you would in your shop because we're doing it remote. So we can't do standalone key functions with ours. So it's called NASTIF Air, that we do. So I can do key functions if it's part of a module replacement, like if you put a PCM in a Ford or instrument cluster, something like that.
Right.
I can do that. But if you just come to me with an all keys lost situation, I'm not going to be able to help you. That's just kind of a little safeguard that NASTIF built in for us because we're not right there with the vehicle.
Got ya. So they don't need a NASTF license. Is there anything they got to do with you guys prior to you programming a key?
Yeah. So we have a list of the vehicles that require that. And when the customer calls in, we'll advise them of that. And we'll actually send them an email that has all of the information they need to get signed up with NASTF. It's free to create the account with NASTF, but then when they're going to go perform a service with us, NASTF does charge a fee because they'll do a little background check of the tech, and then they have to submit the vehicle owner paperwork, that kind of stuff.
Okay, and the person that has lost all the keys, you can't help at all, I assume.
Yeah, we can't help them. They're going to have to find somebody like you that has the VSP in-house.
Okay. Now, of course, I'm sure you heard of this without mentioning a tool name, but there was one guy on the internet, and being part of NASTF and doing some stuff and knowing Donnie, he sent me a very interesting video that I'm sure you have seen,
Yep.
where a guy programs remotely from using this aftermarket scan tool
Yep.
along with his, I think it was a Ford IDS, And basically it's a stolen frickin' vehicle.
Yeah. Yeah,
mean,
that was a very
this-
interesting watch.
And to put it on YouTube, the guy got to be a moron and a half.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Pretty scary. But that makes it bad for all of us good guys out there that are trying to do the job right. It makes your job even harder
Yes.
because maybe if there weren't all of these events that happen, NASDAQ would say, okay, once you sign on with someone, like Opus, and there's other companies as well that are legit, that are going through the NASDAQ requirements, we'll just let them do all lost keys.
Yeah.
But until we get that straightened out, it's just going to make it more difficult for all of us.
Yeah, I totally agree. You got those companies out there that shall not be named that do whatever they want, right?
Yeah, and it's sad, the internet makes a lot of people try to be a hero or they're making money. I mean, the new scam method is they're not paying the scan tool company, they're paying a technician in a shop to do it.
Mhm.
And they're just going through their scan tool.
Yeah.
That way that company can't be sued. Oh, well, Harry over there, he did it remotely for you. That had nothing to do with us. That's a scary part.
Yes, it is, because you have no idea what that guy's using for anything.
No, and they're charging from what I seen, just looking at that video, doing a little more searching, it's over a couple of $100.
Yeah.
Why would, as a shop owner, why would you even want to risk that rather than going, hey, I'm going to buy this off my Snap-on guy or right through DrewTech / Opus. What the hell? I'll just do it the right way and not worry about someone coming after me later on.
Yeah.
'Cause or if it falls down, you think that tech that is doing that for however they have it set up, it looks like some sort of credit card
Right.
fee or however they get paid. You think you're going to be able to get that guy? I don't think so.
No, probably not.
You guys are a legitimate company and a big one at that. Like here in New York, we're on the Opus inspection program.
Yep.
Besides in many states through the country. So it's a big, big company. You guys have any questions or
No.
anyone online with any questions for Teddy? It's a time to pick his brain. And we're looking at the Q&A, not the chat. So I can see if anything, okay, something else came through there.
Snap on. Pass through. Pro 2 still.
Okay, so someone has a question. Does the Snap-on Pro 2 still a relevant tool for programming?
Absolutely. So the pass-through, the Snap-on pass-through Pro tool, actually, I love that tool. I still have the original Cardac Plus. That's our version of that. Super robust. You could build a house with that tool. It's awesome. But that tool, even up into some of your modern vehicles, because it supports 11-bit CAN. So it'll be able to do, most of your powertrain controller programming's on most vehicles.
What can it do? Is a gateway module a no-no for that one?
Yeah, it's not going to be able to do anything with a gateway
That's right.
module. It's not going to be able to do anything if it can. Some of the medium speed cans, it's not going to be able to do. But if you're doing, emissions related updates, that's still going to be a relevant tool for you.
Yeah, I have that older version as well. And then I have the M-Box. And to do any Chryslers, if I'm not using my Chrysler new pod, the third pod they've come out with,
Yeah.
if I'm not using that, I have to use the Mega Can that I got for mine.
Yeah.
Are you guys doing away with, and if you can't say so, don't, but are you guys doing away with the Cardac M setup?
I'm actually not sure, to tell you the truth.
Okay. Because, when I do classes, I always tell people, in my opinion, it's the way to go because I've updated my Cardac M with the Mega Can right up top and
Yep.
I'm good to
And
go.
I love that tool too. My only issue with that tool is it's not quite as robust as like even the Pass-Through Pro 3 or like the new Cardac, Plus 3 that we have. So you got to be a little gentler with it.
Oh, yes. Okay. So that USB port, that's
Yeah.
easy to break. Yes. Yeah. I had to send one of my older ones in for repair. That is true. It's not as robust as the other ones.
Yeah.
Guys, if you have any other questions.
Well, I'd like to add a comment, I'm a big equipment breaker, but when it comes to electronics, scope leads, things like that, you got to be kind of careful. You shouldn't be, using it for a trapeze or something.
Maybe you need a diagnostic cart. so
Yeah,
you don't have
maybe you need a
problem?
diagnostic cart, like I said, like I can be really abusive of some equipment, but when it comes to that stuff, I coil it up carefully, I pack it away, I don't beat on the stuff while I'm using it. You got to be careful with the stuff.
Yeah, it's like any good piece of equipment, including your scan tools.
Yeah.
I mean, some guys treat them like,
Like a brick.
like a hammer. I mean,
Yeah,
they
right.
chuck them over there, there's grease, it's on their cart. Your screen has more scratches on it than you can shake a stick at.
Yeah.
And then it's very difficult to see or use. And that's an investment. I mean, nowadays, tools are not cheap. They're not cheap at all. And let me see a show of whys out there. How many of you guys out there have this wrap 2 or even a wrap 1? I think a wrap 1 is now outdated. Is that correct?
Do a Y
Yeah,
for that,
the wrap
but
ones are
also-
outdated.
also do a P if you just do programming by any other method.
Okay, so Y if you do it by the wrap 2, P if you do it by any other method.
It'll be good to know that.
Yeah, let's see what we got out there. How about what's an F mean? So we got
That means
PP.
we
Okay, so
failed.
guys are doing programming. Good. Okay. That is a real good thing. And I know at least Mario there, how many of you guys have the Drive Pro tool? If you have the Drive Pro, put D, the letter D for Drive Pro. Let's see what we got there. Okay.
And
So Mario, I believe that should be a D rather than a Y. But I believe Mario has a Drive Pro. So I have another question for you. So if someone contacts you and they're working on a hybrid or a EV, will you do the programming for them?
Programming, yes. Diagnostics, no.
Okay. So that is the way the company goes, because
Yep.
looking at Mario there, he's been in my my hybrid EV class, so is Mike actually. But a lot of the guys out in Long Island that work for the other part of your company, I've trained them.
Yep.
And if someone is not L3 certified or has been through my class and a few other companies as well, they really don't want to give any support to someone, because how do they know, if they have the right equipment, the PPE, personal protection equipment, or they have the right training?
Yep.
I mean, when you work on an Audi e-tron or, a Mercedes electric vehicle or even hybrid, and same with the BMW ones, they ask you in their software multiple times, and you're hooked to the cloud going to them if you have been trained or not. They don't want to even have you diagnose the car. They don't want you to go in there. So I think that's going to be a big part down the road of people.
Well, you
doing
can't
programming.
blame them. First of all, high voltage, very DC, high voltage, very dangerous. And
Yes, Mr. Edison.
that's right. And of course, every company is thinking about their own liability for the stupidity of somebody who shouldn't even be touching it.
That's a true fact. It definitely makes your job tough on the other side. I'm sure when you come across different things where, people maybe call you up. I don't know if this happens or not, but do they call you up bitching and moaning that, you're not going to do this all lost key? I got your
yeah.
wrap box, how come you can't do it?
Yeah, why did I even get this thing? What the heck? Yeah, all the time.
How about the people all have the jumper cables? Because we should explain the side of your box does have the studs that you're supposed to hook
Yep.
the battery cables to. You ever come across anyone who goes, you look at the voltage, you go, where's the maintainer?
Yeah. It happens all the time as well, daily, pretty much. And they're like, what are you talking about? Or same thing, like a lot of shop equipment runs off the battery, like your trans flush machines and stuff. So they'll hook their jumper cables up, but won't plug it into the wall. And say, what do you mean? I didn't know it had to be plugged into the wall. Even though that's step one, when you open the lid, just plug it into the wall.
It does say it right there.
Yeah, you've seen it. It's 3 steps on the sticker.
3 steps, very easy and right on the box. Can't miss it.
Well, you know,
Can't-
the problem
Plug
with
in,
that
connect
is,
the battery, connect internet.
yeah, and we've seen this so much in the industry for years. The problem is, like you said, you know, they want to skip to step 47 or whatever.
Mhm.
And we see it every day. They don't want to follow every step. I recommend, when I talk to people about any kind of diagnosis or programming, I recommend that they print the entire process out and use it as a checklist with a check mark next to each item as they do it. Now I say it I say it in a way that's not insulting, I hope. And I say, look, I get distracted all the time. So I do this, you know, 50 some years in the business, and I still do this because I get distracted, but I recommend it.
Yeah, you know,
Probably a good idea.
I always tell my guys before they program anything, one of the things you want to do is shut off all the accessories. But maybe before that, does the radio work? Do the lights work in the interior? Do the doors lock and all this? Because maybe after the programming, whether they do it themselves or worse yet, you guys do it for them,
Yeah.
then they're going to come back and go, hey, Teddy, the lights don't work or the door don't lock.
Yeah.
After I reprogram the engine computer.
Right.
Yes.
Now, you guys don't require, at least when I've gone through to use it, you guys don't require a pre and post scan, do you?
No, we do not,
Appreciate it.
not for programming.
Okay. And after the vehicle is programmed, Teddy, are there any procedures that you recommend to the owner of that or the shop that is programming that vehicle?
Well, I mean, that's going to depend on the car, you know, make model. Some of them are going to have special instructions, special drive cycles and stuff that need to be done. In general, I always recommend at least 1 drive cycle.
It's a good idea. And, you know, the one we did this past Wednesday, the GMC truck,
Mhm.
we seen that, you know, when we were done with the programming, we had a problem with a code in the transmission computer because it lost power intermittently through the programming.
Yep.
Not that there was a fault, that's just what happens,
Yeah.
even if I did it on my own MDI stuff. And then, you know, we just went in, or you went in, I should say.
Yeah.
You did it right through the tool, cleared it out. We shut it off, restarted it, and everything was hunky dory.
Yep. I mean,
And I was
typically,
even able to drive home.
that's good. Typically, that's what it is. We'll confirm a good operation of whatever we programmed and, you know, make the recommendations. You know, OE says to, you know, drive this vehicle and make sure you get an up and a down shift through all the gears or whatever the service info tells us, you know.
Right. Oh, let's talk about, Teddy, you and I discussed this the other day, but for those who didn't see it, how do I know my vehicle needs programming? So if I have my wrap box and for argument's sake, we're doing the GM one,
Yeah.
and I know, you know, you can go to Cal ID and play, explain the process and if there are any fees involved.
Okay, so yeah, we're gonna go in with the OE software. We're gonna connect the car just like we would for programming, and we're gonna look at current calibrations compared to what the OE says is the latest calibration, and that's a $40 charge for us to do that.
For the whole car?
Per module. We're gonna
Okay,
charge
so
per
that's-
module.
That's a big thing I wanted you to bring out. So per module.
Yep, per
So if
module.
I want you to look at my body control module, my chassis module,
Yep,
my PCM, my TCM, and a gazillion other modules on there, we're
yeah,
talking $40 a pop.
yep, exactly. $40 a pop. And I really hope that really just deters people from trying to throw programming at stuff.
So that was one reason why you
That's
guys
one of the reasons we do.
implemented that, a smart move.
Yep.
I remember the old days, you know, with some of your coworkers there, you know, they'd go crazy because people would want all these different things programmed.
Mhm.
And if I need more than one module programmed, let's say on a GM or a Ford, is there a fee per module?
Yeah, so same, we're gonna charge per module unless it's a sequential program or we have OE documentation that says multiple modules need to program at the same time.
Okay,
You know, like a lot of the GMs, engine and trans are programmed together. Even Ford does that on some.
right.
And there's some TSBs on the Chrysler that say you got to do ECM and the WIN and the TIPM, all that together. You
Right.
know, so that's one service, but again, we don't want people just go and program everything. Hopefully I don't have to do my job.
Got you. So speaking about Chrysler, when I go in and Chrysler has something new on the topography, when you go in and look at the modules, there is something, an essential flash and other ones where they want an explanation.
Yep.
Why are you flashing it?
Yeah.
And probably everyone should go that way, because now rather than just going in and go, I see a flash, I might as well flash it.
Mhm. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen some of those cause problems?
They can, yeah. If you're flashing just because, you know, programming for programming's sake, you can cause other issues, especially if you have an undiagnosed issue in the vehicle. And we start setting current down a line we may not be using for day-to-day operations of the vehicle, we could cause a problem.
Have you come across anything? I remember a Ram 5500 truck that I had. And the program file was up to date. And the WCM and the PCM, the dealer's thing I got like from another shop that brought it to the dealer. They wanted the overhead module. I think they wanted to change like 4 modules on it.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, and the skim, when I looked at it and I had help on it when I ran out of everything that I can do. And the tech support company where I bought my Chrysler tool from, very reputable company, not you guys. Okay, not that you're not reputable, I'll take it the wrong way. But, you know, I went in and I did notice the software was the latest version. So they're telling me, well, you know, we think the deal is right, the WCM, but I said, I'm reading the keys. I'm reading them. It's not going all the way through. And it's hard to believe that everything on a PCM is making logic out of stuff, but it won't let me start the vehicle. So I said, well, don't waste your time programming it. It don't need programming. For shits and giggles, I said, thing don't run anyway. I might as well program it. I programmed it, everything worked perfect. Have you come across stuff like that?
I have come across stuff like that. In general, I tell people not to do that because you don't know what's going to happen.
Right, but if it's broken, what the hell?
If it's already broken, it's already broken. You will sometimes run across a TSB that'll tell you to do that. I've seen TSBs like that for Chrysler and GM.
Very cool.
To reprogram, even if it's at the latest calibration.
Okay.
But yeah, in general, probably not a great idea, but sometimes.
Yeah, if it's
Can't break it
running,
anymore.
yeah, if it's running and there's nothing you can do,
Mhm.
you know, I mean, not running and nothing you can do, what the hell, you got nothing to lose.
Right.
That's what I thought. And I had called back that company, you know, and they were like, when I had asked them and the guy goes, no, dude, don't even think of doing that. And I was like, you know, on my own tool. And I went, no one's around. They won't even know. Pew, I hit the button. I programmed it. It worked. I lucked out, I guess. But, you know, I think with the Chrysler example with the essential modules, there is definitely an issue for you to program it.
Mhm.
You know, if not, and if that's the case, let's say I got 4 essential modules and I'm using my wrap too. Is that 4 separate charges?
It could be,
Because
yes,
they're not linked together technically. They're just essential.
but they might be.
Oh, they make.
That's when we'd have to, so, you know, in the YTech software, when you go to access that programming file, they're always associated with the TSB. So we're going to look at those TSBs. So if they're related, yeah, we're going to do it under one charge. If they're not, then we're going to charge extra. And sometimes we get customers that they put a trans in, we're going to program a trans. We see essential modules and other things, and they don't want to touch them at all.
Wow. Okay. Well, that's their call. There may be other issues on that vehicle.
Right.
And, you know, there was one that we just had from another shop recently. It was a no start. And they jerked around with this thing and put a new PCM in. So they had us program the PCM. Obviously, we had to do the keys, when you get the rolling code, the whole bit.
Yep.
And of course, it would still wouldn't start like the old one. The only way you could get it to start, because this was a 48-volt system with the start-stop big alternator
Yep.
on a Hemi motor. And the only way we were able to get it start was the same way before, jumping the relay. When the tech came over from the other shop, I was like, dude, this thing didn't need a computer. The old computer is going to work perfect when you plug it back in. I don't know what they did or didn't do, but basically it had to do something with the start-stop circuit.
Yeah.
Now, there was an open somewhere that people will jump to programming right away. And it's unfortunate, I think, for the vehicle owner.
Yeah.
What's the last thing on that diagnostic list, isn't it? Replace with a known good part?
Our trouble trees in this industry give us a hell of a lot of trouble.
Branch here and there.
Right. I think we got another question here. Did VinMatch in the Win and the PCM? Well, I think, Mike, is that question for me? Type
Yeah.
a letter Y? Because it did match, in the wireless control module. It did match into the PCM, but it wouldn't allow it to go through. It kept coming up with some stupid ass error. And you can read that article with screenshots in Motor Age. I don't know, probably about a year or so ago, I did that one, maybe 2 years now. So do we have any other questions for our programming expert here, Mr. Teddy? Scrolling down, let's see, hang on. Had a Jeep with a similar problem, okay. Yeah, it seems like some of those Chryslers just get a bit buggy after a while. That is true. So how many calls do you do like in a day normally for program? Unless you get a Nissan, you may be on for hours.
Right. I mean, it depends on each of my individual people, they're doing 15 to 20 programming events a day. Overall, we're doing, like I said, about 250 a day.
Wow. That's crazy.
So
Now,
that's
do you guys tell a shop if I come on with my rep too, do you give me a rough estimate how long of a time frame it's going to take to program the vehicle?
typically we will. If we know it's a quick programming event, I tell everybody to overestimate a little bit just in case something happens. But yeah, most of the time, like GM transmissions, we'll typically tell people we can have that done in about 30 minutes. Or same thing with the Nissans. If we know it's going to be 2 or 3 hours, we're going to tell them 2 or 3 hours.
Yeah, we had a Pathfinder not long ago, and we made you guys do it.
You're right.
And
Because you knew it
about
was going to take 3 hours.
It was 3 hours. We're like, we're not jerking with this thing 3 hours. Let them do it.
Right.
It's worth every penny. What's the most car line that you do programming on? Like the biggest number?
GM transmissions specifically.
Yeah, well, that's
Those
true. We did that
6
GMC. There's quite a few of them where they have those tranny problems.
Yep.
And the first thing they want you to do after you did all your diagnosis is program it. And then when you find out that didn't work, it says you need a new transmission. Then you still got to program.
You still got to program it.
So they're number one. What is the number 2 car company?
Ford.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow, I'm surprised at that.
I have a question. So do you do a lot of like collision shops too, or only, repair shops, mechanical?
We don't on the wrap side, we're not doing a lot of collision shops. We do have another collision division that's dealing with the pre and post scans,
Oh, I see. Right.
but there's not a whole lot of programming that they're doing. They'll send us a little bit, not a whole lot, mostly.
And I would think airbag
calibration.
modules would have to be done with regularity, right?
Yeah, they do. But a lot of the collision shops are dealing with collisions that were no bags deployed.
Oh,
You know,
Right.
No, that's a different unit. It's not Drive Pro. It's called something else, correct?
Yeah, that's the Drive Safe.
Drive safe, okay.
Yeah, looks very similar to the Drive Pro. It's designed for the collision shops
So
specifically.
if I was a collision shop and I did want programming, does that go through you
Yes,
Or-
that'll
it
still
still
come
goes through
through
you guys.
me, through the different
I know.
tool. Yeah.
with that tool? Okay, and what do we have here? Does he operate a shop or a school? Not him.
No, I
do
don't.
both. Not him. He works for a big company, but I operate a shop
Yep.
and a training school. Now, anything that you would suggest, someone that's gonna get a rep, did he need to know something specific, or should they just contact you guys and then you just do it from there?
I mean, in general, yeah, but like I said, programming's not a substitute for diagnostics. That's the big one. Make sure you're diagnosing that problem, and if you have an issue, call me.
Okay. You guys, do you require anyone, telling you there's a TSB on something? Or,
We don't require it, highly recommend it, because when that's the first thing we're gonna do. If you call in just for a software update on something, we're gonna say why. We're gonna ask you why.
okay, so there's the why question.
Yep, exactly. Because a lot of vehicle manufacturers, you might have different options. Like Toyota's a good one with TechStream. You go in there and you may have 2 or 3 different options, and you can't go back, like we said earlier.
Yeah, and Toyota's had quite a few problems from P0 420 reprogrammings
Mhm.
to the other one with their the lights go on the dashboard for the overdrive, the 4-wheel drive, the ABS brake-in stability control.
Right.
We've seen some of those where, it has to do with their air injection system. And people think right away it's programming. They have some programming.
Mhm.
And like you said, when you go to their website, they're gonna have a bunch of numbers and bulletins. It could be confusing. You
Yep.
got to get the exact one for that exact vehicle.
Yeah.
So
And if you get it wrong, you can't fix it without replacing that controller.
that's a scary one.
Yeah. But that's another thing I want to tell everybody. Don't be scared. Don't be
That's true.
scared of it. Just because a lot of people don't understand the programming, but don't be scared of it.
Right, right. It's, it's like I say in my hybrid EV class, don't fear electricity, but respect it.
Yes.
That's what you got to do here with
Mhm.
programming. If you respect the things you got to do, like Pierre said, printing it out.
And using it like a checklist, really,
Yeah.
maybe putting a check mark next to it so that you make sure you did that step.
And, the bottom line is not to kill you guys, but if you have a lot of the factory tools and stuff and you can do it and you have the time to do it, what the hell?
Yeah. Then
Do
do
it
it.
and save some money.
Absolutely.
Now, you guys have saved our butt. We used to have a guy, Michael, work here. And,
Yeah.
and Michael didn't know what a spoke on a bicycle was, for real. I'm not kidding.
He did take the oil out of a differential, but he never did put it back in.
Well, that's a whole other problem. Lucky it was only my truck. But anyway, this kid could screw up anything. Make a long story short, we were really backed up on this late model Audi, like maybe a 2020, or it was relatively new. And of course, we had replaced the infotainment system in it, and it needed to be programmed. And we were just swamped. So we said, you know what? We contacted you guys, and he followed every step you told him to do, was programmed, and we were done.
Hey,
And that's with someone with no experience, Zippo.
yep, that's a great story. I love that. And that's
Yeah,
what
that's a
that's
true
really
story.
what the wrap and stuff, that's what it's for.
That's what it's
For
for.
that. Yep.
So that's how we use, you, and I don't know if Vinny's on tonight, but one of my students, Vinny Curran, who, Pierre, you know him
Oh, yeah.
quite well. Vinny runs a real good shop out in Rockland County. And, he has the rep. He's come through my programming class, sent his guys through my programming class. And when they don't have time, they go, I'm not going to lose the job. I'm just going to throw the rap on it. And they'll get the girl in the office to do it.
Mhm.
Because really, I think, the brain power of an 8-year-old can probably do it.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, because you guys are really good with that, not to blow smoke up your butt. But I really, you know, you really go step by step. The directions are there on the box before you get on. And I would tell all of yous out there, and maybe some other shop owners that are not on now, because at some point when I come back from Florida, we'll get this up on a TST YouTube channel. I would say you should have this thing. It's a great investment because it's like having a bunch of experts work for you that can do programming when you don't have the time.
But again, it is not a substitute for your doing your diagnostic diligence first.
Oh, no doubt. And, you know, I always say everything starts with the look-see. God gave you the brain, the eyes, the ears, the nose, the hands. You got to use them. Okay. So look around. How many times we've all found, hey, that looks messed up over there. Maybe that's a problem. You know, speak to the customer. Maybe they're giving you some sort of a hint that something could be wrong. And you need to RTFI, go on and look at information. Is there a TSB? And some, not all of the information systems, but some of them are a bit behind on certain TSBs. It's another reason why I would even recommend going and signing up. It's free for the NASTF website, and maybe pay the money to go on to the manufacturer website just to make sure there is nothing there. Because overlooked steps, as we said in the beginning, you know, you got 1 to 40 and you go, screw that. We're going 1 to 39.
It's hard to reach, it's hard to reach that one, so we won't do it.
We won't do, and we've all seen that, you know. Pierre does some tech support, and years back, we did a bunch of tech support when Pierre kind of worked for me, and
And the internet was pretty young, by the way.
oh yeah, this was in the 90s. So we did tech support and could tell you that everyone liked shortcuts.
Yeah, silver bullets. They all want
Silver
silver
bullets.
bullets.
Mhm.
And if you're not going to go through and do your due diligence, look at that stuff, you're going to run into a problem. You
Yeah.
really are.
If you ask them a question and did you test so-and-so and they say, yeah, it's good, that's not the right answer.
Yeah.
I want a
Okay.
value.
Hey, Rich, do you have any thing to add? You can unmute yourself if you have anything.
That's what I just did. In actuality, the biggest thing is making sure there's power all over the place. As I mentioned to many times, that people check for fuses, as you just said. They didn't, they skip steps. I asked them over the phone even, did you check this specific fuse? All right. And they'll say, no, I checked all the fuses. All right. And chances are, yeah, they did check all the fuses. All right. But there may not even be a fuse in there. And that
I've seen
happens,
that one.
happens a lot. Happens a lot.
Speaking of fuses, Teddy, programming a Toyota. Now, sometimes they have specific information. I know one on a Camry. I've done quite a few Camrys. It'll tell you to pull a fuse,
Fords like that too.
because they don't want you programming anything but the PCM.
Right.
Now, the old days, my Master Tech, which I still have, which was the factory tool before TechStream.
Yep.
You never knew that. It just said program, and I must have lucked out. I was the lucky guy. Nothing ever happened. But when I got TechStream, I'm like, holy crap, I never pulled a fuse. But the bulletin at least warned me to do it.
Yep.
So stuff like that, would you tell the end user? I mean, I haven't used you
Yes.
guys on a Toyota, so I don't know.
Yes, absolutely. Because it's right there and we can't,
Okay.
we can't get around it. We're always going through, especially on Toyota. Like I said, you got to be real specific with Toyota.
Right. Oh,
Make
yeah.
sure you're-
Toyota, you can't jerk around.
No,
Do
not
you
at all.
guys do on, your Asian cars? Do you guys do Subaru?
We're not doing Subaru yet.
Okay. Because Subaru has a lot of P0420s along with Nissan and Toyota and Honda.
Right.
Do you get a lot of reprogramming for that particular code?
Not as much as you would think.
Yeah. Do you think people
really-
are not just looking that way?
Not sure, tell you the truth. Like I said, we don't get a ton of specifically Toyotas and Hondas We don't get many of those. If I do a couple of them a day, that's a lot. Now Nissans, absolutely doing it, took piles of Nissans.
Well, Nissan has quite a few problems and
Yeah, exactly.
only a couple of computers that you can program, correct?
Yeah, we can only do the emissions related stuff on Nissan right now because
Right.
we're using NIRS just like you.
Right. And then later on, you're gonna add more to that?
Yeah, once the right to repair stuff actually starts working properly. Yeah.
Yeah, we need everyone to be behind the right to repair.
Yeah, exactly.
My good friends up there in Massachusetts, they're the only state with some brains and noodles, I think.
Yeah, right. Like I said, I was up there. I was operating a couple of shops up there when they first started that right to repair. Oh man, was that exciting. Stressful, super stressful. Everybody was freaking out and got OEs talking about not selling cars in Massachusetts anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. The group Nasara,
Mhm.
the Nasara guys,
Yep.
they were good being behind it. They had a real good group of people up there because I did emission training up there for 14 years. So the right to repair, those guys were the only ones really on the right side. You would have thought California would be tough. But California didn't step to the plate. They got
No.
a million different rules there. But I guess Newsom is maybe putting his neck in a noose. He did nothing about that.
Right.
So that's kind of scary. We have a comment here from Mario. Drive Pro had him unplug, cooling fan before remote programming.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good, especially more than likely that might have been a Nissan. We tell everybody unplug those.
Talk
cooling
about
fans
Windows on
Nissans.
BMWs.
Hmm?
Talk about Windows programming on BMWs. What do you need to do?
You don't mean Windows, the operating system.
No,
the Windows.
Windows, I go up and
You
down.
gotta initialize. Well, that's true of Volkswagen Audi as well, right?
Yeah, but when we're programming,
Oh,
We
oh,
don't-
oh, he's talking about, so what you have to do is make sure, I didn't realize where you were at there, yeah.
I was going in your brain.
Yeah. And maybe I was asleep. So, the old guy. So, if you have to go in for an OBD2 cable and you put it through a window and it goes through a programming operation where it opens and closes the windows, you can pinch the cable
Or pull it
So-
out of the plug.
or whatever, do something bad. And, so there are some models that have doors that open and close themselves as well. So you can't put it in through the front door. You have to put it in through a rear door and trip the rear door latch.
And that is a very important thing.
Now, that's only some models. Most of
models.
them don't have doors that open and close themselves. So
Right.
all the ones that don't have I forgot what they call the feature, but the comfort or the special doors that are aiding and opening and moving themselves. Everything else like that has a regular door, you can just open the driver's door and click the latch so the car thinks the door is closed.
Right,
But
'cause-
never through a window.
Right. Never through a window. I mean, Euro cars are really,
But that's really true
Strange.
only when they're reprogramming the whole car.
Right.
When they're going through the whole thing A to Z.
right, because then
Then-
your fans come on, your seats move.
Yeah, because what it's doing is it's actuating every system that it has programmed.
Oh, so Teddy, now that just brings another thing to mind. So on BMWs, we started with 55 amp battery
Oh, yeah.
backup. The latest craziest is 90 amps
Yep.
because they're wackadoodle and they're
Yeah.
gonna run the fans, the seats, the windows.
Everything, every actuator.
I never seen such a crazy wacky company do all that. If I have a wrap unit, is it capable of putting out 90 amps?
Yep. We have a 90 amp maintainer in all of our new wrap units.
Now that is a biggie because it is really difficult. My old Fronius doesn't even go up to 90 amps.
I
And
think it
a
was
lot of
70 at the time,
It's
right?
70, yep.
Yeah,
And a lot of the maintainers that are out there don't do that. So
Yep.
you guys are on par and on track with if someone needs that particular vehicle program. And I guess you guys, it had to be you, not you personally, or not you that works with you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Little side joke there. But we had an active hybrid BMW 7 Series
Oh, that was a nightmare.
and the car was a nightmare itself. But you guys were able to go through the wrap unit, but could not go through the Drive Pro unit. And then having the ISTA software, you know, we tried some other stuff just because it was a whole bunch of junk to do on this car. And it said you needed an ICOM. I didn't have an ICOM. I winded up using a different product to go through and act as the ICOM. It was
Gotcha.
a substitute. But, you know, it was pretty cool that you guys were able to go in there and connect to it. First for diagnosis from the Drive Pro, just to double check. You know, it's expensive car with a $15,000 battery. It's the size of a baby box. You know, you don't want to call the wrong thing. And then to get in there and program it. So good stuff there.
Heck yeah.
All right. Well, Teddy, anything else that you may want to add or before we let you go and we'll yak about a couple of TST things? You're welcome to
I
stay
think
on.
that's really about it. I mean, I know we're talking horror stories and how everything's getting messed up, but I don't want anybody to get discouraged by it. I really don't. And if you're scared to do the programming, get a rat box. If you're, you know, smart guy and you want to go and do your own thing and really mess around, get yourself a Cardac or start buying some OE tooling.
And they can go, you want to give out your website where they can get the stuff or your partners like Snap-on or whoever?
Like I said, if you want to get one through Snap-on, wait till your franchisee shows up this week and talk to him about a pass-through assistant. That's going to be your Snap-on, or you can go to opusivs.com and order one right through the website.
Right. And don't be discouraged if your Snap-on representative doesn't know it exists. Believe me, this has happened.
Yeah, it happens.
Tell them to just type in their computer. What do they call it? The PAT system, pass through.
PTA, pass-through
Oh,
assistant.
PTA. Okay. Got to think of it like the PTA that, you know, you had to be involved.
Yeah, exactly.
PTA.
Yeah, ask your
Yeah, so
Snap-on
just
guy.
ask them. They'll kind of find it. If not, go to Drew Tech. And by the way, Snap-on still sells your Cardac unit.
Absolutely. Yep.
Right?
They call that's the pass-through pro. And that's a good way to get that too. I know I've run into a lot of Snap-on guys who have them sitting on their truck and don't even know what they are.
Mike Creeley would want your contact information if that's possible. Maybe you could type that in if you don't want to do it.
Yeah, I can type that in for him. That's not a big deal. I'll send you my email there, Mike. And it's not a big deal.
Very cool. We appreciate that. And Mike, always good having you on. Mike did a neat thing, maybe after we're done with Teddy. And Teddy, you're welcome to stay on. But Mike had a great experience up there. He went, I think, in New Hampshire, where he's at, if I'm not mistaken. Something with Jay Leno's cars. I got to schmooze Mike over so I can go see Jay Leno's cars. I guess he has another big collection place up there. So Mike, maybe you want to type in and tell us about that. Yeah, it was on Facebook. That's right. That's how I know. I was like, whoa, how the hell did you do that? Pretty cool. Well, on behalf of TST, and I'm sure both Pierre and Eric would agree,
Absolutely.
and Rich, that the information that you provided in this little chat is super helpful. Again, you know, from being a user, and I'm not getting paid to say this, in my opinion, you should all have one of those wrap 2 boxes in your shop or a Drive Pro. Any advantages besides diagnostics with programming? That would be a good question. One over the other, Teddy?
Honestly, it really depends on your shop.
Okay.
You know what I mean? If you're just, like I said, a lot of the trans shops really love the wrap units because they're, like I said, they're R&R and 15, 16 transes a day. But if you need a little more help than that, get the Drive. Best $299 a month you're ever going to spend.
Yeah, and then some companies, I know like Dorman that I do work with, they send out a wrap unit.
Yep, there's
Have
a few
them-
that do that.
Yeah, and there's also certified transmissions that does
Yep.
that.
Yep, quite a
know.
few. Even some GM dealers will have
That's right.
units.
You know, one of our TST members, Mike Catawba, when he was working for GM, sent me that GM newsletter and
Yep,
said, look, they're sending out wrap boxes, you know, and they're using them even in the dealers.
yep, absolutely. Because so the dealers will send them out if they sell a trans, or if the used car side of the dealer gets something that's not a GM, they'll grab the wrap box and have us do that for them.
Hey, again, you know, that old saying, takes money to make money. So
Right.
you spend a little and buy this unit, and when you need it, it's sitting on the shelf.
Yeah, it's a lifesaver.
You know, I guess one question I would have, how long of a shelf life? And I remember the first wrap lasted quite a while before you guys upgraded. What do you think the shelf life is of that or the current J2534 box? Are we good for 5 years, 2 years, a year?
We're estimating at least another 2 years
Okay,
on the new one. So we'll see as the technology improves, you know, out in the vehicles. So that, I mean, that's our estimate right now. We'll see what happened. But as I was saying before with my comment on the old Snap-on Passer Pro 2, it's not like one day it's just going to not work for anything anymore. You know, there's just going to be like, oh, sorry, these new whatever platform Ford vehicles, we can't do those modules on. You know what I mean?
yeah, then you got to kind of figure this, the cars that most of us aftermarket shops are working on. I mean, especially now after the pandemic, or at the start of the pandemic, you know, prior to that, people were tons of new cars coming in.
Mhm.
Now we see a lot of older cars that they probably had parked in their driveway or on their lawn somewhere or whatever and parked in the garage. Who the hell knows?
Or it was near end of life and they thought they were gonna get rid of it. and Now they can't buy a new car.
Yeah.
That's,
You know,
that seems to be a biggie, and they're dumping a lot of money in those cars. So you could get potentially 5, 8 years at least,
Oh, yeah.
because look how hard it is to get a new car.
Yeah, exactly. And we still have customers that have original Wrap 1 units in the field. And all they're working on is, you know, 10 to 12-year-old Fords and Chevys. So it's going to work just fine for
Oh, so you guys still support that? It's
them.
another
We will
good.
still support it, yeah, but you're not going to be able to do new stuff with it. That's all.
Right, right. Very cool. Well, I guess I should ask this question as a business owner. So if I had a Wrap 1, could I trade it in? Is there any trade-in value?
There's something, I'm not sure what they do. I'm going to tell you to call Mr. Baker on that one.
Okay, so Mike Baker. If
I
you
know
guys
he was doing
use-
something with it. I mean,
Okay.
I might sound a little sales pitchy, but I'm not a salesman.
No, Baker's the sales guy.
Yeah.
So if you guys need Mike Baker's information, I could send it to you, but I will be gone for the week. So you'd have to wait until I have a couple of minutes to get you that. Or you can just contact TrueTech and say, hey, I want this guy, Mike Baker.
Yeah. Or
And
just
Michael tells
say,
you.
I got an old wrap kit and I want a new wrap kit. We'll get you
Yeah.
to somebody.
Yeah, they'll probably send it to him.
Yep.
Cool. Well, once again, any other questions before we let him go? I'm gonna say that is a wrap for
it's
you,
a
Mr. Teddy. A wrap too for you,
I
actually.
guess so.
But Teddy, thank you so much, not only for tonight, but during the week with the Dorman Lunch and Learn. I think we got a hell of a lot of views. You know, over 1,000 people signed up, and I think it was about 500 or so watched it live. And now we're up to, I think between the Dorman site and our site, over probably about 3,000 views altogether now. So
That's awesome. Excellent.
that's pretty good. So we thank everyone out there for watching, and we thank you. Thanks, Teddy.
Yep. Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I
thank you.
appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks, Ted.
Thank you.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. So for the rest of you guys, well, what's coming up with TST in the future? We have September coming up around the corner, and we will have a guest speaker, dependent if we can get someone to sponsor the event. It could be as little as free, but it'll be our regular 3-hour setup. And we do have some good people coming up with different things, September, October, November, December, all the way basically like we did this year to June. Or if you're a TST member, it will be a $20 fee. If you're not, it'll be a $40 fee. And we will start that in September, probably think I'm around in the end part of September, but the date will be coming out. I do want to give our TST big event our 20th year, Pierre.
Can you believe
Boy.
that?
Are we freaking old or what?
I'm really old. Makes me old just not hearing that.
That's it, our 20th year. We're gonna have an after party. So if you come to the TST big event, I already got someone like Autoleap and Dorman on board, and the after party will be good. There'll be finger food. There will be soft drinks. Actually, it'll be like our hot lunch thing. So it's not even finger food. It'll be some good food to eat.
And I guess some, I don't know if all of them, but some vendors will
Keep that
hang
close to
out.
you.
Some of the vendors will hang out, so you'll be able to still talk to them about whatever.
Yes.
And you know, of course, we'll all be there as well. And you get to talk to each other, of course.
Yeah. And the big thing, so the 18th of March, 2023, make plans to stay over because we are asking the vendors to stay extra. There will be some cash prizes to stay around at the after-hour party. We'll be giving away some extra tools. And thanks to our generous sponsors all these years that have been with us. You know, ATS has always been a great supporter of ours, Bernie and Neil.
Yeah.
We thank the hell out of those guys. They've been really good. And we have our guest speakers this year. Well, we have Keith Perkins coming on. Keith will be doing some great electrical stuff. You may have seen him do the programming class for us. So Keith Perkins will be coming out. And we will have our air condition update with our buddy Peter Cole, because I would say you want to stay up on this air conditioned stuff because you may be seeing another refrigerator. And
It's
we're not
changing
talking
fast.
just 1234 YF,
No,
we're
something
talking
new.
another. So that is important. And then we have our keynote speaker, which will be our buddy and friend, Pete Meyer, will do the keynote on something really good. And in the afternoon, how many of you guys have heard of Gary Smith? Gary Smith does some really good classes. In fact, we interviewed him last month.
Right.
There was some really good feedback on that. So Gary Smith, what's the name, you know, of the company they have? Diagnation.
Diagnation, right?
I just popped into my head. So Diagnation, he will be out there. And we're only having those 2 speakers this year. Give them a little more time. And again, you know, we want to make sure that the after party's there, and you know, all the prizes we have to give away, right? You know, when we do $50,000 worth of prizes, it takes a long time. We're figuring a better method out, working with Wix to see, number one, we'll be scanning you in. We didn't do that last year because their capability was a little hedgy, but we will be doing that this upcoming year, 23. And the big thing is you get to meet with each other. Everyone, there will be table seats for everyone, but we are limiting the people. I think 550 people only. Okay. That way we have no one complaining they're sitting on just a chair. Everyone will have a table seat. So when you're tired, you can go, I'm tired. Okay. And you'll be at your table. And I get it. I understand. So join us for our 20th year. And we hope to see you there. Information will be up on the website shortly. I think Doreen has it where you could sign up. You know, don't be left out in the cold. There will be a new tablet again. All the training information will be there, and we'll have some special prizes and surprises, because it's our 20th year. Rich, you have anything to say? I think we're going to be doing a lunch and learn with Mr. Rich on, why don't you tell us what you got there, Rich, going on?
Oh, just some new items that are out there. There are the kits that some of the kits that Chrysler doesn't make anymore. It doesn't sell anymore anyway. For their repair kits and things that are available out there. And
Is that a Tipham repair kit?
a Tipham repair kit, correct. Correct. All right. Not only for the fuel pump for the blower, and there's two versions of the fuel pump and the blower motor also
All
is
Chrysler?
for Chrysler. There's also some repair kits for turn signals on almost any vehicle that has the turn signal at the body module, and the solid state body modules. And these are solid state modules that take over the turn signal. If one bulb is out, I'm sorry, if one circuit is burned out on the computer, on the body module, and it takes over and makes the turn signals work.
And tell us about your parasitic draw tester doohickey you have.
As far as the tester goes, I'm just using what's out there. All right, and
No, but don't you have a whole kit that Grossman got off you?
Yeah, yeah. It's actually it's everything that's individual, but I'm for drains. The one thing that we're really using for drains is the is like what the MA 155 or there's a couple of them out there. What it's really doing is it's instead of having to disconnect the battery and putting a switch in, it's just paralleling the system through your multimeter. All right, and without disconnecting anything. All right, but actually doing the measurements, you're using your multimeter just as before. Or if you do have a scan, not a scan, if you have an amp clamp of some sort, all right, we're using that. But the best direct way is using a multimeter as far as your amperage goes.
Okay, so you're going to be able to show some of this stuff in a future lunch and learn.
Absolutely.
Cool. So if you guys don't know Rich Peterson, who's been with us as long as dirt, he doesn't look old. Okay. He's the eldest out of all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Okay.
And Rich has been our cameraman for years and TST board member.
Since the
God,
beginning.
Since the beginning. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
been with
Since
us.
we were STS.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The STS.
Right. Yeah.
And there's not many of us left. You know, you see Rich, Pierre, Eric here, myself, and sometimes Bear, who is an associate. But you know, when it comes to doing, we all volunteer our time,
Right.
and Doreen, we have to thank Doreen all the time.
Because she doesn't actually volunteer her time. She just gets volunteered.
That's right. But you know, we do it to help the industry. And if we all help each other and put in, and you know, I'm preaching to the choir here, then it all makes it that much better. So, you know, going to a TST seminar or an event, and a lot of people ask, you know, is TST going to go live again? Only if we had prepaid members going to go to, whether it's Jersey, Massachusetts, Connecticut, you know, otherwise we're just going to keep doing them the way we've been doing them. We get way more people on, and Pierre and I are getting old to come home 1, 2 in the
No,
morning.
I'm not
from
getting old
Massachusetts.
anymore. I already am.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true. But it gets very tiring, 4 days. And, you know, even when Pierre had his shop, and obviously I had mine, Pierre would shut his shop early
Yeah.
and we would go drive up to Massachusetts.
Get home late at night, get up in the morning, do it again.
Yep, and Eric as well. Eric has helped us out many times when Pierre couldn't do it. And even I took Doreen a couple of times when these two guys weren't able to do it. So it takes a lot. And Basil, that some of you guys may have recalled from our TST big event, same thing with him. You know, these were originally a group of 20 down to probably a group of about 5, in fact. So, with your support, we keep it going and we got a good thing. Any questions or comments? We'll let you guys go and we'll let ourselves go. All right, I don't see anything. Do you think the interview with Teddy was helpful? If you think it was good, type the letter H in for helpful. H for helpful. H for helpful. If not, type the letter S for sucks. Okay. Yeah, I woke you up on it one. The letter S
Instead
for
of,
sucks.
instead of Y and N.
That's right. I came up with new ones. So H or S, please type them in. Make sure you're still there. Says you're still there. Oh, good.
No S's.
Yeah, a lot of H's. That's good.
Well, we definitely thank you all for coming out, spending your time. We know your time is super precious. And, here at TST, we're really trying to make your life as easy as possible. Okay. And if there's some sort of class you want to see or a particular speaker, over the years, God, we've had everyone from Menchu to Mark Warren to
John Thornton
Thornton,
and Xander.
Sanders. In fact,
A lot of people.
Sanders just
Mac
spoke to
Vanderbrink.
Sanders today. Yeah, Mac Vanderbrink, may rest in peace. Sanders will be coming up with a new class for us. He just told me that one today. Not sure when he'll have it ready. May not be to December or January, but at some point he will have that ready. And we will pass that information. Don't forget to go to tstseminars.org. And a new thing starting up, well, I better not say September because my time is limited, but we're going to have a new thing where if you sign up for membership, if your membership has lapsed, we are going to make it a one price deal where you get all the videos, okay, and goes right along with your membership and you get discounts for the classes that are coming up. Okay. So look for that. There'll be a change on the website. We're going to incorporate the 100+ videos that we have and probably another 50 or more that I have to put up minimal. I just had someone email me this morning. Hey, gee, can you put some new ones up? Boy, if I could only clone myself, because I'm the guy who puts them all up. But we will start getting them up. We're going to try to hire someone or whatever to get that done. And we thank you for your support. Good night from New York. Have a
Yes.
good one.
Thank you. And, we'll see you hopefully in September.
Yes, thank you, Rich. Thank
Yep.
you,
Good night.
Eric and Mr. Pierre
what's his name,
and
right?
Doreen and myself.
Thank
See
you
you
all
in
for
September.
attending.
Take care.